Has anyone ever told you that video games are a waste of time and that you can't learn anything with them? Well, I'm going to show you how video games can actually help you improve your memory, believe it or not. So, the game you see on the screen right now is Super Mario 64. And as you know, one of the main components to memory is location, because a location acts like a storage place, right? Like a folder on a computer. You create your image and story and you place it into a location. Then when you want to recall that information, think of the location, then boom, the story and images come up, and you translate that back into the information, right? But the thing is, no, maybe you're having trouble creating palaces and journeys out there in the real world. Maybe because you already use other locations you know, or you just can't find any new place to explore. Well, that's where video games come in. Video games are their own world, and they have a lot of detail. And I know this game doesn't have the best graphics compared to games today, right? But it works. So, for example, maybe you can create a journey right here, right? So maybe the first location is this cannon. The second location is this bridge, right? And so you can just walk around the world and create locations, create journeys to store all sorts of information. And that's what's really cool about games because you can do it very quickly. Because when you're trying to memorize, locations out there in the real world, you might have to walk a lot, but also people might think you're crazy because you're looking at a wall like, okay, got it. Or you're looking at a chair and people are like, man, this person loves this chair. And so I know, I'm speaking from experience. So I know, maybe it's a little bit more difficult to create journeys out here in the real world. But video games are a great place because they have all their locations. And so the thing about this journey, or this game specifically, is that I have used this to memorize the periodic table of elements, believe it or not. And I'm going to use this to memorize the presidents of the United States, this week's memory challenge. So right here, the entranceway is the first location for the table of elements. So it's hydrogen. And then when I go inside the castle, I'm going to get some dialogue from Bowser real fast. And so when I go inside the castle, right here is helium. So that's second location. Here is third location, which is lithium. And the great thing about this game specifically is that all these pictures, you could jump into them. Okay, most of the pictures, you could jump into them, and you have your own world already. Look, so you have like the main world, but then you have like these mini worlds you could go into. And so creating journeys and getting these memory palaces is really easy. And when I walk through this game, I like to play time to time. When I walk through it, I see all the elements. Like right here is carbon. Right there on the left is nitrogen. And so I see all these images for the periodic table of elements, which is really cool. So the thing is, I was always told video games are a waste of time. You don't do anything. You learn nothing from them. But it turns out video games can actually help you by becoming journeys and memory palaces for you. And so that's really helpful, especially for this week's challenge where you need 44 locations or 45 locations, if you try and use the journey method to remember the presidents. So each president might get its own location, right? And so games are just so cool because for me, I love Mario, and I remember playing this game when I was little, so it just has that much more emotion. So when I see something, some crazy weird image in the game at a specific location, it just stands out. It just sticks out because I'm like, whoa, I never expect to see this happening in the Mario game. And so I just wanted to share this with you because I think it's very important to show that video games do have a use, if you do apply them correctly. But also, in video games, you have so much detail and so many different characters and objects, like these bombs. Over there, you saw some Goombas, and so right here, right, some Goombas, and so you just get all these characters, and you get so much imagination from these video games because a lot's happening inside them. And so I just wanted to share this with you to show that video games can be useful and that they shouldn't be overlooked because some of my best scores I ever got were with using journeys from video games. Because all that matters when it comes to creating your journeys and memory palaces is the feeling you have, is that you're able to walk through it and you have some emotion, right? You're like, man, that was so cool playing that game. Oh yeah, I remember what happened there. I remember playing this game when I was little. And so the extra emotion makes it a fantastic memory palace and journey. So hopefully I proved to you that video games are important, and maybe you're gonna start playing some video games to get journeys. So if you're in school or a child and you're playing games and your parents are like, hey, get off. You're like, hey, I'm trying to learn the presidents of the United States, Mom. So I need to play a little bit longer. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.